Hi everybody, my name is Renee Everling and today I'm going to discuss with you a SDAIE strategy known as graphic organizers. Graphic organizers are pictorial representations of a concept or principle, and they help students convert complex descriptions or explanations coming from different sources into visual representations. Some examples would be a Venn diagram or a tree map. There are other graphic organizers out there, it depends on the person and how they are being used. Some key things to remember are that they help students see the relationship between and among pieces of information. They help students understand comparisons, and they help students organize their thoughts. Today, schools are using graphic organizers more than ever, and a lot of them are calling them thinking maps. If you walk into a classroom, you'll see along the walls possibly teachers posting different type of thinking maps around their classroom. Thinking maps are based on a language of 8 visual patterns, each based on a fundamental thinking process. They're used individually and in combination across every grade level and curriculum, and are integrated as a set of tools for lifelong learning. The only difference between a graphic organizer and thinking maps are thinking maps focus on 8 designs, circle map, bubble map, double bubble map, and so forth. Let me show you an example. Here's my example of the different type of maps that you will see within the school districts. Today we will show you how to use 4 of these maps. So my group and I will show you how to use 4.
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy, and the SDAIE strategy that I decided to focus on is a graphic organizer. And the graphic organizer that I decided to talk about is the circle map. The circle map is actually really easy and simple to use in any grade and any lesson or any subject. So I think it's a strategy that's helpful because it helps kids with thinking, their thinking skills, and helps with brainstorming and come to an easy conclusion and how to find answers. So I'll tell you how a graphic or a circle map works. It's actually one of these papers that you can find online. It's really simple, or you can make it in your own classroom and then make copies of it. So you would pass that out to your classroom, and what it mainly is you would have a main idea, which it could be any lesson that you're working on at the moment. It could be a story, it could be math, it could be a science, anything science related. So in the middle of that circle is a small circle, and that's usually where the main idea goes. And what you would do is, like, if you're talking about, let's say if you're talking about apples, you would put apples. And then the information regarding the main idea is just information you already know. So information you already know about apples. You know, they're red, they're green, they're sweet, they make applesauce. So, and then the information around that box is where will you find the information, and that's where the student will put where they'll find the information about the main idea. So where would you find information about the apples? And you put teachers. Maybe you go online or you read a book. So I actually have a few examples of how a circle map works, and this is one. This is like kind of a math, maybe for first grade math, and it's just different ways for students to find how they got the number 5. So the number 5, the information regarding the main idea, and then where they would find that information. Then I have apples. So the apples is the main idea, and once again, you don't have to put just words. You can use visuals and draw pictures if you want to answer it that way, so the student, will understand that STEM and then apples for the visual. And then, once again, where would they find information about apples? And with the internet, books, teachers, or even right here, parents. And then I have something maybe science related where maybe a teacher's doing like a lesson about the universe, and that would be the main idea. And then outside would be information regarding ideas, regarding the main idea. And then outside is where would they find this information. actually think graphic organizers are really great for ELL learners because the teacher can concretely see what they already know about that topic and then go from there. It's an easy way for them to kind of see what they already know. And it helps with their brainstorming. And if they work with peers, they can also help them expand their learning by using their speaking and their listening skills. So I hope this this information helped you understand how Circle Maps works. I hope that this information is useful and that you can provide it for your classroom. Thanks.
This is called a bubble map. This is used to help our students, especially our ELL students, to learn vocabulary words. It's great to use during language arts, like when you're reading a story to them. Mine is going to be based off The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. So let's just assume that I already read the story to my class, to my students. And then after the story, and during the story, you can ask questions just to get the students' minds thinking and to engage them in the story. And then afterwards, if you wanted the students maybe to write about the story, write a paragraph or whatever, you can have them use a bubble map where they can jot down ideas and words that they remember to help them when it comes to the writing process. So some of the words I chose were things that reflected the tree. So for me, my middle point, which is my main point, is the tree. So focusing on the tree and then what it's applied to the character in the story. So one of the bubbles, I put branches, because the tree's branches helped the little boy when he needed, he went to the tree to ask him for a house, he went to the tree to ask him for a boat. So the boy used the branches and he was provided shelter, he made a house, and he made a boat from the branches from the tree. Another thing that the tree provided was money, because the boy went to the tree and asked him that he wanted money. So the tree told him that he can go pick her apples and sell them and make money. So that was, those are some words that I wanted to teach you guys about. And then also, well, of course, the character is a boy, and he always went to the tree when he wasn't happy, and all the tree wanted to do was, and also the tree provided enjoyment for the boy. Because when the boy was young, he used to swing on the branches and climb up the trunk, and so it was a fun place for him to go to. And then as he grew up, he wanted other things from the tree. He wanted to have a family, so he wanted a wife and children. So that kind of ties into the house. He wanted a house so he can have a family. And then finally, when the boy finally was old and tired from traveling on his boat and having his family and making money, all he wanted was companionship and a place to rest. So after the boy chopped down his branches and built his house and built his boat, all that was left was a stump. So it was a perfect place just for him to sit and rest. So using this graphic organizer, this bubble map, will help the students make a connection between the story and the words, and then seeing the words again, will help them learn to say the word and to spell the word, and it will just help it to stick into their memory. So I believe using this strategy is great for ELL students because it will just help them to, first of all, visualize the story better, get a better understanding of the words and the meanings of the words, and it's just helpful for them to learn new words. Okay? Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm going to go over tree maps and how to sequence with a tree map. I'm going to demonstrate how I would teach the book The Giving Tree with second graders, maybe a younger group because it's going to be very basic. So to start off with, The Giving Tree is about a tree and a boy, and they loved each other. So at the beginning, the boy is young. He's a young boy. So I would tell my class, let's first start talking about the boy when he's young. The tree and the boy loved each other. And maybe for my English learners, I would put a little heart to demonstrate what love is. Okay, they loved each other. And they played. So the boy and the tree my English learners, I might put the tree and the little boy next to them playing. And in the book it goes on to say that the boy also slept under the shade of the tree. So again, I may put the boy sleeping and the tree over the boy, giving him shade. And that's something they talk about in the book. Later on, the boy grows. He grows a little bigger, so I'm going to put the boy grew. The boy grew. And he needed money. And it's interesting because we could all see our life on here, and if it was maybe an older group, I might talk about that. But with second graders, I would keep it very basic. So he needed money. So what did he do? He cut down the apples from the tree to sell them to get money. So he cut the apples and he cut the branches. And he cut the branches because he wanted to build a house. Because he needed a house and he had more needs. But then the boy grew old. And as he got older, he had different needs. He wanted to get away. And one of the reasons he wanted to get away is because he needed rest. And here I might put the tree stump, because that's all he had at the end was a tree stump and the boy who sat on the tree stump. And at the end, the tree was happy. So with my class, and in this case being the second grade class, I might go over why. Like they might have different answers and I could adjust that, or different details of the book and I could adjust to that. So that's a little bit of how I would do tree mapping with the second grade class using the Giving Tree as my book. And for English language learners, or I might put a little picture, or maybe I would have already cutouts that I could just put with magnets and put them as I'm going along. Thank you.
To use a flow map. And the flow map is part of the graphic organizers that we've been talking about, a SDAIE strategy that teachers use among different content areas and in their classrooms. The flow map is used mainly for sequencing. So I'm going to show you on the board that I have a pre-made flow map, and each flow map is going to look differently. This is how we use it with our students in the class, and it's going to sequence events in the book that we're going to be looking at, which is the Giving Tree. Okay. So you're pretty much, we all know what the Giving Tree talks about. It's a little boy in the tree and how the tree loves him, and they love each other and do all types of stuff, you know, until the end where they die. Sorry. But we're going to sequence that book. So you can ask your students Q&A. If you do it as a whole group, what happened first? And some students might say that there is a boy and tree. So that would be your first box because it introduces the boy and the tree. And then you can go further on in the book, and then you can say that that the boy would pick leaves. To play with. And you keep going on until the end of the book. Each flow map is going to be different. It depends on the classroom and the teacher, how far you want to go along in the book, and how much information the students are willing to give you from the book itself. There you go. There's your flow map.